Hey guys, it's Robin, RsIslandCrafts. This is Talk to Me Tuesday for Tuesday, December 11th, 2018. We're just going to start right into the good stuff this week. Nothing bad, nothing good, nothing has happened at all this week, so let's look at the goodies. For anyone who doesn't know or didn't remember, this is the bed runner that I'm working on for my daughter. And I mentioned last week that I need to have some type of a backing fabric, and I wasn't sure what I was going to use. But I was very sweetly reminded that I am doing a barter with one of my friends. She's sending me some fabric and I'm doing some knitting for her. So we're just swapping back crafts. She said, hey Robin, wait, I've got some great blue fabric that I'm sending you. So don't worry about your daughter's bed runner yet. So this is the bed runner. And then I showed my daughter a couple options. And this is what she decided that she would love on the back of her quilt. Let's put it this way so we can see it the right way. These are like, at first I thought they were like mountains, but I guess since it's in the water, they're really kind of like the icebergs. But we can also still pretend that they're snow-covered mountains. Either way, it's fine, right? So since this runs, I'm going to have to cut it. Since the bed runner is going to run along the end of the bed, I'm going to have to cut this and piece it. Because the mountains, this is the longest length of it, and this is the narrowest. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it and match it up as best as I can to piece it this way. And we also discussed as a backup plan, because when you're letting people choose fabric, you never know if you have quite enough fabric. You want to make sure you have a backup plan. So I said, okay, daughter, now if I don't have enough of this, can I use what other fabric? So she also chose this. Now this fabric happens to already be cut into squares. I haven't measured them. They're probably around 12.5 inches just by looking at them. That's the back. Let's look at the front. So it's kind of like brush strokes or maybe palm trees. I'm going with more like paint brush strokes on here. But I thought this was really nice. And it's going to work okay with this. It may not be the exact blues, but I'm hoping to be able to get most of it out of this one. And then I can use this blue for the binding. What do you think? I think that's going to work out really well because and once again, I just folded this all up nice and neat. I haven't measured it, but there is gobs and gobs and gobs of this. And her bed runner is, I think it's around like 27 by 80 maybe. So I think I should be able to piece this pretty well. And if I don't have enough of this, I'll just take this blue and use it for the parts that are hanging over the sides of the bed. So if she decides to flip the bed runner over and use the other side, she'll be looking at mostly all these iceberg mountains on top of her bed, and then the blue will just hang over to the side. I think that'll work really well. Since the mountains are going this way, I can definitely choose the width of her bed runner for the height of this, so I won't have to worry about adding any borders around the edges. So I think that's going to work out really well. I really love this fabric, and I was hoping she was going to choose it. You see those little silvery bits? Those are kind of shiny and glittery, and all along here in the mountains, so it's got a nice little shimmer and shine to it. And as usual, it's kind of hard to get it to show up on the camera, but you can at least see those colors. Now, it's also part of the bartering package. There was this, oh, so exciting black fabric. Yes, Robin, why are you showing us this plain old simple black fabric? Because I wanted to hide what's underneath it for the big ta-da! There's something that I've been wanting to do for years and years, and I decided that 2019 was going to be the year I do it. I feel very confident in my needle turn embroidery. I do really good with different hand projects and stuff like that. So I decided I am ready to start and conquer a Hawaiian applique quilt. So now this project is coming to me already started. I have a lot of the pieces. You saw all the black that I have, and I have yards more of the black for the background. I have different patterns. I have a booklet, a middle envelope with all the paper patterns that show you how to, gives you this actual pattern for the Hawaiian design that's in it, and it also shows you different ways to quilt it. I have this bag of things that are already started. I have more fabrics to choose from if I need to make more blocks. And then even more fun fabric. Now, I haven't looked at these blocks yet except for just opening it up and seeing the ones on top. So I thought today we'd just take a couple minutes and we'll go through each block and see how beautiful they are. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really in love with batiks. And I do have to be careful because there's pins in all of them, and I've stabbed myself a few times already. So as far as I've seen, most of these have either already been stitched or they've already been basted down, which means that I need to go through and needle turn it. I'm going to guess that this is the actual pattern for each block. Some of them have it pinned on and some don't, but I'll be able to go through the pattern afterwards, the little package, to see if there's which block is which, if I need to know the name or I want to make more. But look at those beautiful colors. I don't know the full history behind the Hawaiian blocks and what each of them mean or anything like that, because I know there's some different symbols between the plants and the flowers and the trees and the animals. This is the blue jade. That's really pretty. I'm hoping there's a turtle in here and some palm trees. That would be exciting. Ooh, look at the beautiful colors. Whoever chose these designs, the fabrics, really did a great job picking out the fabrics. There's going to be a lot of black, and of course it's going to get trimmed down just a little bit. It looks like it's more that'll be trimmed down on the sides than it will on the top and bottom, so I'll have to see how that all works out. It's going to be a lot of black, but as I put it together, maybe I can mix the colors up so that it's not too much dark and there's a lot of the bright colors, so it'll blend in nicely. These are really pretty. Now, I often thought that I would love to do the batiks because the batiks have such a beautiful colors and brightness to their fabrics. But I know it's going to be a good time for me to actually go through and collect all the different amounts of batiks that I want, because it's nice to have one quilt with all the same colors. These are the pineapples. That's a very common theme in the Hawaiian blocks. But to be able to purchase each one and collect each one and find the different batiks, it would take a while. See, now in the little envelope I have, there's the big versions of this, a full sheet, and then they just have the little spot where you can cut this out. It shows you what the corners are going to look like and different ways you can cut it, quilt it. So here's your center, and then you can go ahead and hand quilt all around. But the colors are just fun. And since it's basted, if I needed to, I could always unbaste it and move it onto a bigger piece of fabric or a different piece of fabric, depending on what my needs are. Water lily. They chose really well because that seems like water to me. Look at the colors. Hibiscus. Very pretty. So there's definitely plenty enough in here, I would imagine, for like a king-size quilt. I don't need anything that large. And I probably wouldn't want to make it that large to give it away either. I'd rather get a couple quilts out of it than just one large quilt. Maybe several lap quilts would be nice. What is this? This is an iris. This one is red ginger. So, yep, see, the person who chose these chose really well. Their color scheme is matching perfectly well with the name of the patterns, the orchids. So as you can see, I'm definitely going to get plenty of practice with my hand stitching, and I'm also going to get plenty of extra pins for my pin collection. I've come to really enjoy these flat pins like this without the ball on the end. It just makes things lay down a lot nicer. I might be able to separate them just based on color. And maybe just say, okay, I'll make all in one color or mix them all up. So without looking at the back of these, I would think that this is probably not a batik. But that's okay. I don't mind if it mixes and matches like that. This is very similar to the one from my my monster log cabins. I'm really kind of falling in love with the greens lately. So this one, as you can see, it's already been started to be stitched down. And I decided that if I was concerned at all with the stitching, I could just go ahead and if I want to, I can just, maybe I can find some type of a, I want to say maybe a blind hem or something that I can just go along here. Or worst comes to worst, I can just take a straight stitch about 1/8 of an inch and just top stitch all the way around the edge like that. The finished quilt will still be just as beautiful. It doesn't have to be hand pieced. And then I wouldn't have to worry about it going through the machine and being washed and having anything falling apart. Because never to take away from another person's stitching, but I don't know how long ago this was stitched, and I'd have to look at it, and it's probably better than my stitching anyway. It seems to be held down there very well. Look at all the little tiny stitches. So I don't think that's really anything that I'd have to worry about. But if I come across something that I do, or I just want to throw caution to the wind, like I said, I can just top stitch it, and it'll be fine. There are pattern books out there where they have you machine stitch them instead of hand stitch them anyways, because this is a ton of blocks to hand stitch. So I think whoever was doing them might have gotten a little bored because there's a couple of half blocks that aren't actually finished. Ooh, here's the needle they were using. I went ahead and took care of that before that one pops out and I end up with it in my foot or one of the cats eat it. That's a nice bright color. I'll definitely have to pick up another lint roller or two just to get them all nice and clean. But these would even just be fine as a one-off to make as a pillow cover, a cushion cover. They're probably a bit big for a tote bag or anything like that. Table runners, wall hangings. Look at the colors. The jewel tones, I really love the jewel tones. I love the brightness of them. I love the deep saturation that a lot of the times those colors have. So it looks like we are now into all the finished blocks. So a lot of these, yes, these are more of the jewel tones that aren't, oh, I like the star in the center, that aren't, that they're not batiks, but that's okay. Like I said, I love color, so kind of reminds me of deer antlers. It's that Rorschach test where it depends on what you see. That they always show with the psychiatrist programs and stuff on TV. Now, just looking through the viewfinder of my camera, this seems a little bit dull to me, but when I'm looking down here with my actual eyes, it's a very, very bright. Like I said, these are nice jewel tones. And once again, the little bit of a rounded star shape there. I really like the leaves like this. I think this would be on the top of my list for some of the favorites. Maybe a trumpet plant. But there's different techniques that you can use to help you achieve that. This almost reminds me of a stingray. And then that's the last one. So this is going to be going towards the top of my project list for next year. I have to think about it a little bit and decide how I want to do it. I really have a feeling that I'm probably going to go ahead and do a little bit of top stitching around all of these. I think for the sheer number of blocks that there are, maybe I'll pick out 4 or 9 of my favorites and just hand stitch those. And the rest of them I think I'm going to go ahead and machine stitch. Because if I bring another hand stitching slow project into the craft room, I'm never going to get them all done. There's only so many you can do in a lifetime. And I've already got a couple of 5 and 10 year projects. So I think I'm going to cut this one short. Like I said, save a few out that are really special, that I really like the colors or the design, and the rest I'll just go ahead and machine stitch. These look like turtles. So I bet you the part that was cut out here was actually turtles. And then these are the flowers around it. I'm going to look for this one in the pattern set and see if I can find that, because I really like these turtles. I definitely want to have one with turtles and palm trees. So that's it for me this week. Have you guys ever done any projects like this, or do you enjoy inheriting someone else's UFOs and whips, or do you kind of like steer away and you don't want to finish anyone else's project because you've already got 20 or 30 of your own? Hope everyone has a great week, and I hope you find just even a little bit of time to do something creative this week as we're getting closer and closer to that Christmas time and the end of the year. I'm looking forward to any videos that might come up this week, and I'll see you guys in the comments. Bye!